Is not working. What the fuck? Ben is recording? I think it's okay. No, oh, it's working. Okay. Recording works. All right. So yeah, today we're just gonna look through we're gonna talk about what I looked through. I'm sure Jack is gonna, if he wants to chime in, he can chime in. Architect can chime in. But I think the main topic to talk about is that all flow is not equal because I feel like a lot of people, once they see a $3 million call position or a $3 million put position, they automatically buy into that flow. But they don't really check the actual meat of that flow, right? So every single day, I'm looking through orders that are coming in, right? They can be from $3,000 orders, $10,000 orders, $100,000 orders, so on and so forth, right? Um, And so, well, actually, before I get into that, this is Flow Seeker. This is what I use to find all the flow, right? All the notable flow, all my trade alerts, et cetera, et cetera. So this is what it looks like. It shows the date and time, the ticker, the strike. If it's a call or put, percent out the money, expiration, days till expiration, fill, spread. With this filter, it's all at the ask, flow score, contract ratio, and I'll get into this. Size, premium, volume, open interest, um, the gain of open interest from the previous day, the spot price, IV, the volume to open interest, ratio, and then strategy and earnings. How many earnings? So one of the most important things I look at in the very beginning is when I click into a flow, right? Is that is it clean? Right? So this to me is not, it's showing a good amount of ask, right? So a whale is buying 90K worth of an AVGO for 17 and a half call for 624 expiration, right? With a multi-leg of 14%, which I usually kind of ignore because then I have to find the other side of the trade. And with AVGO, that there's so many contracts being purchased or sold, 90,000 in Avgo is nothing. So this is something I will definitely ignore, right? So if we're just looking at the chart in itself, it is kind of messy, right? We do see some bids, we do see some asks, and then we see a little bit more of, um, you know, contracts being bought at the end of the day, but it's only like 13,000, right? So this is like a really like messy example. So I'll be like, wait, can you wiggle your mouse so we can see where your eyes are? Can you see it? My mouse? Oh, you can't see the cursor, huh? Some people say we see it, some say we can't.
I don't really see. It's like toggling up and down.
Uh-huh. Is this setting that?
Somebody says you need to share your screen and not just Chrome.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. So let me do, the problem is if I share I'm on a widescreen monitor, so it's gonna show like all the mess.
I don't-
Actually, it's okay, it's okay. Wait, maybe I can just do this. But it might ruin the recording though, but it's okay. No, this is not gonna work. Do you guys need the? Yeah, it's too wide, right? Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. Let's not do that.
Is that what my screen looks like, bro? Holy shit, that was insane.
Okay,
Yeah, I think this is better
this
in
is
my
better,
opinion.
right? Yeah, yeah, it's actually better for the. Yeah. Okay. So as I was saying, there's a lot of messy flow out there, right? And you have to really filter it out. So you can have your filters. For example, for this filter, we call it the big ask filter. Okay, so we're looking at premiums that are, over a million, over 500,000, over 400,000 that are usually at the ask calls or puts. So we're looking at a contract, right? So again, MU, obviously it's been on a straight up tear for the longest time, but I see that there's a lot of premium, that 21 million the MU 1250 calls, 1800 volume, 1600 open interest. But then again, just because it's 21 million premium, right? I mean, look, 1800 volume is actually not that bad with this type of contract size. Um, but a lot of people will still find these, you know, $10 million premiums, but the volume will be only like 50, right? And they'll just be like, okay, well, this is a huge flow. Well, sometimes it's actually not because the cost of the contract, right? So Nvidia, MU, Tesla, SNDK, those guys that, trade so many option contracts a day is mostly noise in my opinion, right? Now, I'm not saying that, Nvidia Flow, Tesla Flow, MU and SNDK, all these guys um, doesn't work, right? But for me, it's a lot of noise, right? Unless I see a trade where it's kind of like like a one single order, a sweep, right, with big size. Okay, Jesus Christ, dude, what am I saying?
Uh,
Wait, some
he hit Vic's pivot.
Yeah.
Dear basketball.
did I just get kicked?
Kian got liquidity sweep, bro.
I think I just got kicked out of my own.
Yo, we all shorting Discord to zero, bro.
Zoom, Discord. Oh God. All right. Okay. Well, anyway, what was I getting to? Big premiums. I think it's a lot of noise, right? So I do like these like different kind of stocks that I see. So when I'm looking through flow, when I'm looking throughout the day, yes, okay, there's a lot of, premium in the MU, SNDK, Tesla, Nvidia. But when I open the flow, like look, I'll show you of Tesla, right? And they'll see all these orders. This is actually like not the worst, but it's very messy, right? There's a lot of bids, there's a lot of asks, a lot of mids. You know, it's not that clear to me, right? So I tend to ignore a lot of the Tesla flow, the Nvidia flow, and you know, the ones that are very highly traded. So what is a good looking flow? Someone's no audio.
That's just stages. That's not you.
Okay.
Like stages is just horrible, period, especially on like
Yeah.
iPhone.
Yeah. So one example that I really like today, I think I posted on X, is AS, right? So AS was getting 40 calls for, am I not share my screen? Dude.
Nah, we see
No,
it.
I can
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can see,
Okay.
I can see, we can see,
Okay,
we
I
can
think I
see.
should maybe stop reading the chat because I see like 15 people saying, yeah, I'm not looking at chat anymore. Jack or Architect, if they say something, just let me
Yeah,
know.
just keep going,
Yo, this
guys.
Yeah,
guy's
Keep
yeah,
getting
going.
permabated.
yeah.
This guy's getting permabated.
God damn.
He's banned.
All right. Yeah, so today AS was getting multiple hits so this morning at 11 o'clock, they were getting 40 calls. This is clean, right? Now, the only problem with this is that there's zero open interest. So this is an opening order, right? So if we want to determine how confident the bull is, we want to see as much volume as possible to carry over into the next day, right? So there was 1700 volume today on this contract. Tomorrow, if you're in this position, you would like to see, let's say, 1500 volume in this contract, right? So, but tomorrow, if let's say there's only 300 that carried over, well, it doesn't really show, um, if the whale is that confident. Okay, so this is pretty nice, right? So expires in August, 255,000 in premium. Again, 1700 at the ask, or almost, yeah, so 1500 at the ask. As you can see, there's not really much going on. There's no really many bids, no mids. Um, it looks very clean at the ask. And then later on, you get, actually literally 30 seconds later, you get a 45 call for September for 600,000 in premium, 25% out the money. And this looks pretty clean too. Now there is a little bit of bids, a little bit of ask, but that's okay, right? You can see that mainly all of them is at the ask, right? So this is an example of a very clean flow. Now, once you got that down, once you think that the flow is clean and that it makes sense, you don't just buy it, eyes closed. I mean, you can if you want, right? You can if you want. Then it's all on you. But flow is just another back or what's it called? Uh, Back pocket tool, right? It's not like a magical um, tool that you're gonna hit 95% with a win rate, right? So again, you look at the flow, is it clean, right? Is it all at the ask? Or if it's all at the bid, right? If you want to sell the contracts, right? Then you look at your chart, does it make sense? Because whales make a lot of mistakes, right? I've seen whales lose a lot of money, right? And we want to make sure that, for example, this, right? There's If you're looking at this contract specifically, most of it is at the ask. You want to make sure that it's not like a multi-leg trade. So this is a single leg trade. Now, if it was like 30% multi, that means there's another leg to the trade. It could be rolled, it could be part of a debit spread, credit spread, butterfly, so on and so forth, right? So for example, this is a very clean trade. So the green bar is mainly at the ask, the red means bid. This is this blue line right here is the price of the contracts. Okay, and then this is the price of the stock, the net premium calls by. I actually don't necessarily read into this part. It is good to have for sure. I personally just pay attention to this, right? This is like my favorite area. Here is good. Obviously, you can see the stock price right away. But as far as like the net call premium, net put premium, um, for me, it's just, I don't know, maybe information overload. I don't know if Jack uh, uses the net premium a lot or Architect, but for me, I kind of just stay away from that part.
I haven't really touched
Kind
it.
of.
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of.
kind of.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of. It all depends, honestly, on the like you said, the non-common tickers.
yeah.
Um, like for example, I put one in chat. You can pull this
ALKS.
up. This is the one I like today. It was random. ALKS 55C for 1120. Near close. Because of the way I got filters set up, I could tell y'all later because I use Flow Secret too. I got filters set up, so it only finds me like 20 to 25 results a day for me on Flow, and of that, I probably take like 5 to 7. That was the one that popped up on my radar today based on my filters.
Yeah. So
It came in at 350, basically. They're close.
yeah, like this is good. The only problem, the other side of the trade, 99% multi-leg.
No, because I didn't have enough time to find it. It was
Yeah.
just 5 minutes before close.
Okay, yeah, but
So,
so this is a good example. Like, some people, like, you would look at this, right? 2500 volume, 212 OI, nice premium of 800,000, all at the ask. So like this looks great, right? This is truly like, a clean flow. And what we call this is like a buzzer beater flow. So like the last 30 minutes, last 15 minutes, last 10 minutes, whatever, you get like a whale that will buy, you know, a contract, right? For a good size. We call that buzzer beater. I call it buzzer beater flow, right? But you gotta be careful with this because this could be, look, we can find it, right? We can find if there's another leg to the trade as like if it's like a debit spread or like a butterfly, but it is 99%. Let's we can, you know, we would hope that's not like a credit spread or like a bearish position, right? We know this is being bought at the ask, right? But we have to find the other side of the trade. So it is kind of like a messier trade, um, but well, messier
Yeah,
from
basically,
this.
it's one of those trades where, like these are good for those smaller accounts. Now that PDT is gone, if you got under 25K, you find the other leg of this trade.
For sure.
Because the way I look at it is, it's for the stock is 46, and this is buying at the ask 55. So most likely he's going to be selling something higher. So he's bullish on a credit spread. Most likely that the stock goes up.
Yep.
So if you can't afford to buy it naked, you can buy the same spread that person is essentially. If you can find the other leg, I didn't have
Yep.
enough time to
Yeah,
find it.
I found it right away. So in the multi-leg filter, looks like they're selling the 41 puts for 821. So same size, 2500, 2500 in size, and they're buying the 55 calls. So obviously this is a very bullish position, right? You're selling puts, right? And you're buying
And buying
calls
calls.
for the
So
same
a
size.
risk reversion, RR. It's
Exactly.
a good
Risk
RR.
reversal. Yep. Yep. So that's like the main one of the main things too. So whenever anyone's looking at flow, they'll see the 800,000 premium, they'll see the 500,000 premium, the big premium, but then they won't see that multi-leg part, right? So always gotta make sure that, for me, my rule is like 25%, 30% multi-leg. I'm not gonna, consider it as obviously a single leg trade. I'm gonna, bookmark it and then uh, try to find that other leg, right? But if you have a filter that's just, or a scanner that's just single leg, right? Then that's what you want to look at. So if we're just scrolling through, um, the flow from earlier today, right? So again, I see that Amazon, you know, $165,000 premium comes in. But if you click, and someone will be like, okay, that's good. 165,000 for, the spread is at 165. But when you open this up, does this look like clean to you? Like, does this look enjoyable to look at? No, right?
That looks like taking a bath with a toaster.
Exactly. Yeah, literally. You're eating battery acid for breakfast. Or it looks like my room. False. Absolutely not.
So to pause, the answer to Yoshi's question, when you're selling a put and buying a call at the same time, you're financing the long side by selling the put and collecting premium.
Yep.
You understand? So it's a double bullish bet.
Yep.
So he's selling the 41p, betting that it doesn't drop below 41 in the next 60 days, and then he's buying the $55 calls, betting that's going to go towards 55 by November.
Yeah. And as far as multi-leg trades, those are, I think, they have the highest hit rate in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying like, every bull risk reversal flow you look at, you buy it. I've just seen so many that have done so well. Have done so well because again, you are extremely bullish on that position. You're selling puts and you're also buying the calls. You want those puts to lose as much value as possible, and you want your calls to go as high as possible. Um, so yeah, so if I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, I don't even want to bother. Maybe like, a whale just put 190,000 5 minutes before um, market close, but 190,000 in an Amazon call is not, you know, it's not that big of a deal, right? There's millions of call and put premium that come in, right? On Flow Seeker, you can click on the strategy section to see what the other multi-legs yeah, so exactly. So if you go here, like we can go back to the ALKS and you just, oops, Yeah, I can show the filter. You can click this, view strategy leg, and then this one's saying double calendar, but I think I'm pretty sure it's a risk reversal. You click here. This blue like box, you see it? Right next to the time, the purple. Right next to the time. That's where you can clear the strategy. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. Let me see these questions and I find those clean flows. Do you guys look at call put ratio? I don't. I don't look at it. But I think the problem with the call and put ratio is that how do you know if those calls are being sold? How do you know if those puts are being sold? Right? I think that's one of the indicators I truly do not look at. Okay, so like I want to talk about IBM real quick because obviously like that was just such a sus flow.
Bro, I'm pretty sure the contract you posted was Rams.
No way. The
Cause he sent
300s?
something. Yeah, he sent something after close. It was like he sent a message about that exact contract.
Well, I got the 717s 260. I don't know which ones you guys saw.
I saw the
That's the one.
300s. The 300s for
Here, wait.
717.
Yeah, check your DMs, Kian. Let me send this to you.
Rents call 717, 300, 320. I'm in the 260s. I don't know what the hell he followed.
He
I don't
said
know.
IBM 300 call for July is 75 cents. Hypothetically, if there was news, these will explode too.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's the exact contract that Kian sent.
yeah, so yeah, I mean yeah, he got it. Yeah, like again, if I honestly, if I did, I had no idea that he alerted that. Um, but as an example, right? So someone paying 345,000 at the ask for IBM, 19% out the money for July expiration. It was like well, yeah. I mean, total premium at the time was 642,000, but there's 200,000 at the bid, 50 at the mid, and then 345,000. So at that moment, it was 345,000 at the ask, right? So a whale, right? I'm using it as an example. This obviously could be Rems, it could be his Discord, whatever. Um, but if we see another whale like this, a whale is showing urgency, putting a good amount of premium for a 20% move, right? With not that much time left to expiration. These are like the good ones, right? It doesn't have to be the 5 million, 6 million premiums, right? And look, when this was bought, right? This was bought at what is that, 240? IBM wasn't really moving, right? But you see the cons rocketed, right? It was ripping, and IBM was not doing really anything. So that already tells you there's got to be some headlines, some news, you know, something that was being anticipated. And then obviously at the end of the day, you get, you know, Trump touts on IBM stock gain. So it's these that, that you start to really dig in. But
It's
yeah,
also like the IV expansion is like people pile into contracts that aren't traded all day. The
100%.
the options writers the options writers start writing more expensive contracts because there's more demand for that strike.
Yep.
Damn, Jack, sound like somebody I know.
Yep. 100%. And then, yeah, I think ETF flow has definitely been a big topic. 99% of this, oh yeah, any call or put can be a hedge. Okay. We don't know the really the other side. This could be some guy that, has a 30, $40 million stock position and he's buying these puts to hedge his portfolio. He can be buying these calls for 5, 6 million to hedge his shorts, right? So any flow can technically be a hedge. Now, if we're looking at ETF filters, right? Very messy, a lot of noise, a lot of noise. The ones I do like are the ones that are clean, right? Like this, not that clean. Yes, a whale bought. Uh, actually, this is not that bad. I mean, 4 point. Eh. See, this is actually, you know what? As a matter of fact, I don't care too much about this one, is because it's like basically in the money. Yes, it's a lot of size, but it doesn't really show me urgency. Now, if someone paid 5 million in premium for a QQQ seven, I don't know, 750 call for 2 to 3 days out, then yeah, that's for sure a much more interesting flow trade than someone paying 4 million in an 8 cent out the money contract, right? So the ETF flow is very, very noisy unless you get some of those weird, if it's the contracts like 3% out the money with, you know, 3 days out expiration, over 1 million in premium, right? Well, other than that, I go through all this ETF flow every day, and 99.9% of it is all noise, right? You really want to look at the urgent, the ones that are urgent, right? That they put a lot of money with less time, right? And with more out the money.
Yep. Me personally, I ignored most of the ETF flow
Yeah.
because it's just too much for my
Yeah.
eyes to keep up.
No,
Yeah.
it's truly all noise. Like you can have a whale buying 3 million in calls in QQ calls, and then next thing you know, a whale buys 2 million uh in the QQ puts right then there.
Yeah. Another cool thing, if you guys click on filters on the right, things that help me out for getting rid of some of these noise, I'd say, quote unquote, on the flow. If you scroll down to the right, the vol OI ratio, I crank that up to a number to crank out some little noise, little flow that's not like typically like small hitters or the big hitters. You can crank up the min volume, the min interest, and the min premium, right? So, and then your DTE, put a range on what you like to trade. So the reason I did all that is because if you're a swing trader or a weekly trader or whatever, pick your time frame. The point is, if you know what type of vol OI ratio, like those examples we're giving, right? If, like, for example, if Amazon typically gets 3 million of flow, or let's just throw a random number out, right? 30 million a day. I don't know, just it gets a lot, right? But if you crank out that vol OI ratio, one contract suddenly outdoes that by 6 or 7 million by itself. That's abnormal because that's not what it typically does at once. It does it on multiple strikes. So it would appear on your flow and it would tell you something weird is coming in, right? For example, today roadblocks came in, right, on one, even though I hate it, so I ignored it. AMD flow came in today on abnormal, and I know how much AMD usually gets every day, but this one got tagged through. A Datadog call got tagged through, which is abnormal because Datadog usually gets a lot, right? So it filters out some of that other stuff and puts eyes on certain things. So it's a cool thing. Just look at vol OI ratio and look at your premium and crank that up to a number that you feel comfortable with. And those are what I use.
Yeah. So one example, Barracuda, he says check out EQT 51 put. So here's another example, right? There's 10,000 volume, there's 10,000 open interest, 807,000 premium today, multi-leg of 99%. So you gotta find the other leg to this trade. But let's just say this was 0% multi-leg. We have to make sure that just because this is at the ask, we want to make sure that this is not a closing of the STO. Like let's say you're bearish on EQT, okay? And you see 10,000 volume today, but it's 10,000 open interest. You got to expand this and make sure that they're not closing a short put, right? So we're going to see on the volume OI history where that 10,000 came from or when. So 526, there was 10,000 volume. Okay, so let's make sure. Click, let's say, okay. So you see, it was a short put. Okay, so it looks like what this whale is doing, if again, if let's just pretend that this is a single leg trade, right? This one has another side to the trade. They were selling the 51 puts, okay, and now it looks like they bought it back, right? So again, when you see like the high volume and high open interest, always got to make sure you expand it and see exactly what's the story behind this trade. Because I know a lot of people will see this, they'll be like, oh wow, 10,000 volume and 10,000 open interest, they for sure bought it, right? They for sure bought it. We're just gonna go with it, and then they'll buy the puts, but they don't know what exactly, happened in the past, right? So they could have been short the calls, they could have been short the puts, they're gonna close, so now they have to close it out, right? So you always have to make sure to track it, okay? Um, yeah, keep asking questions. I think this is probably easier just to um, filters. Yeah, I can give you this one, the big ask. So filters, again, there's no necessarily how are you saying 99% multi-leg? Okay, what do you mean? So I can go on that example again. You see where it says multi 99%? So that means it's connected to another trade. Cool. All right. So yeah, no filter is the perfect filter. Okay. I change my filter every day. I tweak it every single day, just based on market conditions, what I want to see, what becomes less noisy, what becomes more noisy. But for example, this big ask filter is fairly straightforward. I don't know why below bid is on, but um, on the side, it's all calls and puts, ask, above ask, and only stocks on this one. And this one is 100,000 premium minimum, so you'll only see 100,000 premium minimum on this filter. Um, Everything else I don't really touch. Volume has to be greater than OI in this filter, and I only like out the money on this one. Single leg, so no multi-leg, but sometimes it still will kind of capture that 50% multi-leg, this and that, and that's where I'll kind of, either bookmark it and try to find that other trade or the other leg. But yeah, this one's very simple, right? This is literally all at the ask, all stocks, 100,000 minimum premium. Um, and then, I'll obviously look into the contracts and see, you know, what's going on, right? Um, but this is not the perfect filter, right? This is just a very basic filter. Like you can, having a filter where OI is greater than volume is also a good filter, right? Because let's say if there was 6,000 volume in a contract yesterday, or yeah, yeah, if there was 6,000 volume in the contract yesterday, and that turned into 5,000 OI, and let's say 1,000 volume came in today at the ask, if this is a contract being bought at the ask, then you don't want to miss that either, right? Because the whale is adding into their position. So you just got to play around with the filters. Okay, what fits your style? I don't know what filters Jack has or the architect, but I'm sure they adjust theirs, depending on how the market is, or how, their change of style, so on and so forth. But yeah, for example, like I have this one, um, out the money, where this one is kind of like, I only like to flow at the ask with 20% out the money minimum, right? So out the money only, volume greater than OI, and single leg. And then sometimes I'll change the expiration date to a shorter expiration. So it's like, okay, this whale needs the stock to move like 15% in the next 30 days, right? So if someone is putting, let's say 600, 700K in a contract, with, let's say, 21 days, right, for expected move at 15%, okay, that's very unusual, right? That's a very unusual trade. So that's what I like. So I have a filter for that. Obviously, I have an ETF filter, sweeps only, where sweep is just one order at once, right? So it's just like, let's say like a 300K order right at once, compared to a block trade where there's multiple different transactions and then it gets merged into one. And then also there's a big bid filter where it's all at the bid, right? So it's not everything as at the ask. I like to see if whales are selling premium um, as well. How do you evaluate a flow if there's an earnings date coming with expiration day? One, I'll tell you this, flow will not help you with earnings. Earnings at the end of the day uh, is a gamble. Okay, I don't know if everyone agrees to that, but for me, earnings is just a gamble, right? I don't care if the whale puts in 5 million for this week's uh, expiration, they could lose too, right? So when I do see flow for earnings, I tend to ignore it, or I'll just give a warning and say, hey, look, so a whale is buying this, but they got earnings in 7 days, right? So um, now again, it depends. Like let's say um, you know like MU has earnings on Friday, and someone is buying 20 million in calls for 6 months out. I always tell myself, okay, I would rather wait until after earnings, okay, to look into that flow, and maybe I'll buy it then. And if I missed the move, I missed the move. It is what it is, because that flow could have gone down 60, 70%. But if it worked, it worked. It's not a big deal. Like that's just how trading is. I've missed hundreds and hundreds of trades because I waited a little too long. But at the end of the day, we kind of, we didn't know, right? Do I care about IV? Actually, let me go through this question, bro. How would you spot the IBM flow like today without missing the move? Yeah, again, I was just saying, um, someone was buying 400K worth of the IBMs, which is 20% out the money with uh not that much time left in expiration. So that is already something that I like, right? A good amount of premium, not much time, out the money, so they're aggressive, right? And also seeing the IV kind of ramp up. Um, the premiums were heading higher, but the stock wasn't really really moving. So that's what caught my eye with IBM. But um, oh, no, understand that. But how would you make sure you don't miss that? Um, no, there's no certain filter. I mean, you could technically have, this out the money filter, or you can set your own filters for, let's just say, for example, if you like a premium of a minimum size of, let's say, 300K with 30 days out at the ask, um, and let's say 10% out the money. Okay. Can you set alerts? You cannot right now, but the the thing about me is that I'm looking at the flow all day long. So, I'm kind of scanning everything all day. But again, you can have these type of filters where it kind of, you know, gives you a better idea of these type of trades. How can you tell if the contract is pricing a big move? For example, is there a way to identify the fair value of the option contract?
Basically, just look at the IV percentage.
Yep.
If IV is over like 90 or 100%, that means that people are expecting either the ticker is super volatile or like there's earnings or there's like a big news event of some sort. But usually if IV is over 100%, there's going to be a decent amount of volatility.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, again,
A good example is Marvell. is 110% IV every week,
Yep.
no matter what week you buy.
hmm The flow score, I believe it's the spread and I think it's just based on the spread and yeah, with the calculator. Yeah, if it's like
Your basketball.
yeah, it's like the spread and the contract ratio. Um, that I'm not. Okay, well here he goes. You can literally hover it and it says size, side, sweep activity, volatility, context to estimate directional sentiment. Yeah, this from the flow score for me is in my head. That if I look at the flow score, like I have my own flow score uh in my head. If there's good flow coming in, but IV is greater than 100%, do you stay away from it? No, I don't necessarily stay away from it. I just know I'm going to be paying a premium for it. And if I'm on the wrong side of the trade, then and if the IV collapses, then you'll notice your contracts will die much faster. So you are paying a much higher premium when the IV is. Yeah, it's like biotech. You have these biotech stocks that are 300% IV, or for example, like you have SpaceX, right? I was talking about a flow earlier today. SpaceX was at like 196, and SpaceX hit like 150 today, and those 150 puts when SpaceX was at uh 190, those cons only went up like I don't know $10 a contract, as in $1,000. You'd expect a lot more, but that's the thing with IV with these kind of stocks. So the X2, X3, those are like it's showing the amount of the fills. So there's two more fills of this contract. So they're just aggregated. They're like, pushed into one. Yep, exactly. So you can click this, and you see there's ordered right there. Yeah, so if you want to see the whole flow, you click on the contract. Um, what you can do to make if you don't want to filter, you can go to Flow Scanner, right? And they have preset filters for you. So you go to filters and you can just do bullish flow, right? And these are all preset, okay? And this will show, let's say, from the biggest premium to the lowest, right? So if you want to make your life easy, if you just want, bullish flow, if you just want bearish flow, call sells or put sells, you can go to the flow scanner and there will be preset filters. Then once you get an idea of these type of filters, then you can start changing them on your own, right? For trades that you kind of like, the styles that you kind of like, right? But if you go for these, these put sells, this is what it will look like. So these red bars basically showing that it's being sold. These puts are being sold. Okay. But again, we have to see like what's actually going on. So in the last 45 days, it looks like these are mostly all at the bid, right? But you always got to make sure. You can't just like look at, let's say like this one, SATS 80 puts for today. There was being STO, right? Let's see so the last 45 days, it looks like yeah, mostly at the bid. But if there was like a big green bar here and then red bar here, that means they were closing out the contracts, right? Will you talk how to use your flow flows, some practical issues? Yeah, again, I talked about it earlier today, is that I see thousands of orders every single day, and that doesn't mean I'm going to enter all of those um, flow posts. I'm looking through the contracts. I click them, I scan them. So if I'm going here, right? If you look at AA, for example. Okay, AA is very clean today. Okay, 1.5 million total premium at the ask, right? So this is a very clean trade. They're buying the 65 calls for 821 expiration, 11% out the money for August. Okay, so this looks clean, right? Nothing's messy. There's no bids. There's no mids. 0% multi-leg. So once I have that down, I will look on the chart. Okay, so if I go, on my chart, yikes. Okay, so I go AA. I'll look at the daily. Okay, so it looks like these guys are trying to do an, knife catching, right? The 200 day is right here. Okay, not a bad risk to reward, right? You can have a stop below the 200 day, but again, for me, it's like if this is like tough. You're buying in a downtrend. If you go on the weekly looks, I mean, what you got 57.48 as your stop on the week, right? But again, it's below the 821. But for me, I use moving averages, so um, the week doesn't look that good. You can have the risk at the 200 day. Um, but again, that's my thought process, right? So if the flow looks good, I'll look at the chart. If the chart makes sense, I'll enter it. And at that, the market will do what it wants to do. It's in the market's, it's in the market's hands, right? You can set your stop, your risk tolerance. If you're okay with losing 100%, then leave it. If you can only handle a 20% drawdown, you have a 20% stop, right? Um, and sometimes the whale stops out, for a loss, and if you think this trade could still work, then you can hold it, right? And that's another thing. You can track, if the whales are still in or not, right? So you can go to a contract lookup tab, and you can type in that contract to track it, right? So if we're looking, let's say at the QCOM 270s today, or actually it was on Friday, I believe. So Friday we did see, actually no, more. Okay, so we saw the first order of the QCOM 270s on June 18th, which was Friday, right? Yeah. We saw it at the ask 900K
That was Thursday.
Thursday, dude. Wow.
Wait,
Okay.
17th?
No, 18th.
That's Wednesday.
Wait,
18th? Yeah, it's Thursday.
it was Thursday. Okay, yeah. So did someone was buying 900,000 in the QCOM 270s? They bought more same day, so they were lighting it up. Oh, today's Monday. That's why. Friday we were off. That's why I was so confused for a sec. Okay.
Yo, this guy is not locked in, bro.
Nah, it's been a long day. Staring at, a $2 move for 8 hours. Um, so yeah, we saw that, and now you can see, yeah, so some sells here. Yeah, so some whales got out here, but again, if you didn't, if you wanted to follow the whale, this guy got out for a loss, I think. So yeah, you see a red bar, that's bid. So this is an exit. What other questions?
Also, something that's important to remember is like whales lose just as much as anybody
Yes.
else.
Yes.
So like it's nice like flow I like for like contract selection. So like if I'm looking at a ticker and I look at the flow and somebody hammered XYZ contract and expiry, sometimes that's how I use flow instead of like using it to find the ticker. Like I just use it to enter. That makes sense.
Yep. Please analyze the iron 800K flow. Which one was that one? I mean, you got a 105 call for 2.9 million, 2,000 volume for 2027. 85% out the money for 2.9 million premium for next year. Next year. So again, it's a good amount of premium, but it's just too much time for me. You have a lot of time. If this was a 105,
Also,
uh-huh.
all right, I'll go ahead.
No, no, no,
One
no,
other
you go.
thing I like to do is like if you're really liking a ticker, like for an example, I was thinking about absolutely blasting CRDO before earnings. Like if somebody apes in right before earnings, I like to watch the contract. So if it dips and it doesn't dip too much, you can usually get a really cheap fill. But sometimes people just get absolutely hornswoggled trying to play earnings, and you get a really nice earnings dip, and then it runs like a week after earnings after
Yeah,
all the bozos sell their calls.
yeah. When they exit, do whales typically dump their whole position at once? From what I've seen, yeah, you definitely see a big sell order. Yeah, it's not gonna be. I mean, every trade is different, but if you see like a big whale, like let's say for this example, if they do get out of the position, yeah, you're gonna probably see a big red bar that they sell. So holding MU into ER a bad idea. Again, that's if you yeah, that's up to you. We haven't. I don't have the crystal ball. If I had the crystal ball, I'd tell everyone. Actually, I don't know if I'll tell everyone. I'll probably sell it. Sell it to Jack.
Bro, just full port it and then laugh at everybody after it happens.
Yeah.
I need a visual reference for Hornswoggled. What the flizzy? Rewatch the video of the Tesla going into the 80-year-old grandma's home, bro. That's about as good as it gets.
Someone asked NVO flow. 52 and a half. This is small. Yeah, I'm not seeing how to manage flow if you entered. You can bookmark it. I mean, if you entered something, it's in your broker. So, but as far as the flow, you
I'd
can.
hope you'd watch it in your
Yeah,
broker.
yeah.
Yo, bro, I just full ported this flow. I'm finna delete Robinhood. I'll catch you guys after expiry.
Um, yeah, you can bookmark it, and then you can go to the flow tracker, and then you can easily go in here and you can keep track of that whale. Um, let's see. When you post in notable flow, how would you suggest I research further? You kind of use that as a watch list, right? You look at those contracts, right, and then match it with your charts. Does it make sense? If the contracts are a good size f- for your account size, then you can take a position. Um, but yeah, yeah, obviously don't enter those notable flows blindly. Look at them, see if it makes sense on the chart, and if it looks good, then enter it. You can check on the flow scan the next day too. Always check the open interest to see, if the whale, carried over into the next day, because you don't want to see, 5,000 volume today and then tomorrow, uh, only 400 carried over. Then that's just like, okay, well, the whale has no confidence anymore. AAOI 80 put. Yeah, that was a kind of a crazy order on Thursday. But yeah, we can look it up and see what happened to that. It's a 626. So look, they bought it 540K on Thursday. You actually got what, it went from 1.18 to 0.24, but looks like they're still holding. They got smoked for sure, but yeah, it's dead. It's zero. It's zero. But yeah, if you saw the whale that exited, then it's kind of funny that 36,000 out of the 40,000 carried over, but again, it doesn't mean anything. It's zero.
Imagine AAOI opens up like negative 50%
Yeah,
on Thursday and those cons go like 1,000%.
yeah,
That
that
should be insane.
would be crazy. That would be
Did you
crazy.
see those TE calls for what was it,
22
August?
calls.
Like the 22s?
Yep, yep. They actually
That
make.
shit was wild, bro.
Hmm.
That reminds me of, like the Rocket Lab calls that we fumbled on.
Dude, that was
Bro, I can't believe that shit actually
that was
worked.
insane. That
I
was
was looking, I was like,
insane.
what is this strike?
Yep. Yeah, that was crazy. It went in the money. It literally went in the money.
I know,
It
shit
was like
was crazy.
70% out the money, I think.
I know that dude, like, I hope his wife loves him because that was insane.
Yeah, TE was good. You got the first buy of like 130,000, but again, 130,000 doesn't seem like a lot to a lot of people.
It's a lot for a tiny ass ticker, though.
Exactly. Small ticker, 112% out the money with an August expiration, right?
Like, that's just stupid. They're expecting some news on that one,
100%.
100%.
100%. And the chart looks good too. The chart looks very constructive. But yeah, you're paying a crazy but again, and then you got another tag for 88,000 and you know,
Honestly, if you want to play that contract, I would rather like buy shares or do like a
yep,
credit spread of
yep.
some kind.
Shares for
Not a
sure.
credit spread, a debit spread, I mean. But
Honestly, shares would probably
yeah,
yeah,
that
I always like to do shares with these type of
Kian, what do you think about Nokia?
knock those 15 and a half calls or 15 calls or chart
Low
wise.
key, that was me. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
I
I
saw
blasted the 15s today.
15s. Yeah, those are nice. With 15
Let
calls
me look at my expiry. I bought the August expiry, the
August.
15s.
Hmm.
I just feel like the chart looks hella
Char
good,
looks
and
great.
it's
It
got to
reclaimed
blast
it.
off eventually.
Yep. Reclaimed the 821. They got that deal with Google.
And
So
then, but what happened to Google? It just fucking
I
died.
honestly, dude, I honestly have no idea. Thank God. Senior DeepMind researchers leaving.
Two researchers? Fuck, I can research, bro.
Let's go research for them. Someone's asking.
I can monitor this situation full time for Google.
Okay. Um. Yeah, OLED was nice too.
He went to Anthropic. Is he single?
Yeah, OLED was clean. OLED again, another example. 54% out the money. 380K at the ask. I didn't personally buy it yet. I was in another position. I actually played QCOM today, but I got like
Damn, that low key, that flow low key looks
this
good,
this is
Sunyan.
nice, bro. This is literally I think I posted this on X earlier today. And I think I posted an ask
Did you
earlier
see
today also.
the on semiconductor one from like last week?
The 125s.
I can't remember which one it was.
I think they were the
It
125s.
was sometime last week and somebody absolutely like exploded it.
Yeah.
You're looking at today, but it was like
Yeah, no, I know.
14 million or something.
Hmm. It was the 145s last week, 1.3 million. Yeah, it was the 145s. Um,
For what, like 918?
July 17th.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
yeah, I mean it's $8 move on those. You can't find those TE calls in my live feed. Make sure it's um at the
Your
ask.
filters might be too strict.
Yeah.
Kian, make me $1 million, make no mistakes.
Why do John and Keon share the same channel? It's been like that since 2020. We're not gonna change it.
They love each other.
Yeah. We're actually
Bro, Kian, peep
yo,
INFQ, bro. It's about to run again.
dude,
Trust.
don't even get me started with this, bro. I fumbled this. Oh my God.
Bro, look at the
EFT.
chart.
Bro, like this stuff I like. Even though it's small premium, this like 25 calls, 88,000. I just have this like instinct because of looking at flow for like 6 years now. These like 80K orders, but like 76% out the money. I love. I'll like just take
One of
shares.
those strikes was me, but
The 20
like look at the
calls.
chart, bro. Shit looks insane.
Jesus, yeah, it does.
My
I have
shares are
no
still
way.
up like 50%. I think it's going to the moon.
Dude, I took INFQ like 60%. And then my runners got stopped.
It ripped up to 20 and then it ripped
Yeah,
back down again. But
yeah.
I mean, the White House is teasing quantum, so
Hmm.
like,
Good
who
volume the last
knows?
two
We'll
days
see.
too. No, these are nice.
I think it's if quantum is like a big thing, INFQ is going to be one of the main beneficiaries, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Especially just because they're like so big in the national and even the international governments. Like they're big in the UK and Australia too.
Hmm.
So hopefully I don't get bagged, but we'll see.
After clean flow and good chart, do I think it is necessary to check heat map? It's not necessary, but it's not a bad thing to do. That's just another tool.
I mean, if you pay for it, like it doesn't hurt to at least look.
Yeah.
Like if there's a node at the ceiling, like maybe you want to wait and see if you can get it for a discount.
All right, I got like 5 more minutes. I gotta head out soon. Yeah, AOI. This is another clean one. 240 calls, 41% out the money. Looks like almost all at the ask. It's just, dude, this
The
thing.
only thing I dislike about that ticker is the premiums,
The
bro. It's so
premiums are
expensive.
so expensive, but dude, the stock goes up and down 7-8% a day.
Bro, it's like getting a ticker, or it's like getting a hooker in Silicon Valley, bro. It's like $6,000 an hour.
Yeah.
Did anybody else see that shit, bro? I opened up X one day and it's like hookers are now $6,000 an hour in Silicon Valley after the memory boom or something stupid.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, SWKS. I was actually looking at that um aftermarket. Gotta see how. So the problem with this is that the 22,000 volume, this might not even be at the ask. We gotta see how much OI carries over the next day. Um, because there was 20.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you see that? So this was
No, IBM just cracked 270, sorry.
no
This shit's just
fucking
still
way.
running. It like tickled it.
Jeez.
268. Holy, calls are gonna be so paid.
Yeah, yeah.
NQ is nosediving. Okay, I have a question. Do you ever look at like in the money stuff? Because I feel like in the money is like so hit or miss. Like
Not really.
sometimes it absolutely bangs, and then
Yeah, no,
sometimes it's like insane, and sometimes it's ass.
I genuinely don't. I'll have filters for it. I just don't really care enough for it. I just like whales that
Holy.
are urgent, you know?
Yeah, I get it. But like sometimes, like if somebody's willing to pay for in the money, that
Oh,
means like
yeah.
they're more
No,
confident
for sure.
than out of the money.
For sure.
But
I'm not saying I ignore it. I definitely don't ignore it. I'll look at it. And obviously if someone's putting heavy size with a lot of delta, then I'll for sure, look at it. But I think for like the normal user, like if you want to learn flow, I think that the in the money could really like confuse you.
what's flow?
Hmm.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
What's flow? Yeah, literally. FLNC through. Okay, I got.
It's kind of funny that Kian just looks at flow all day.
Dude, I do. Yeah, I mean today there was 2.4 million, but actually I can just do this. 1.3 million at the ask. It's kind of messy, but yeah. Oh,
Do you
7,000.
put any weight to somebody that is still holding a contract that is down with time? Well, I mean, like if somebody's down like 70% and they're still holding, it might be a good time to get in.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the Fed gonna hike or cut rates? Check the flow, please. That's not how flow works,
Oh
bro.
God.
Oh my lord. Bro, how many times is Kian gonna wipe his ass? Can you check the flow, please? Dear
Oh,
basketball. Ever since I started rolling my dad's tube socks. Holy. What makes you think something's gonna pop off like immediately? I'd say it's probably like the expiry. So like if somebody's buying weeklies or even like monthlies, like far out of the money, then it's possible they're looking for a big IV spike.
Yep.
But like if somebody's buying like yearly, like 3+ months out, like they're likely not looking for a big spike.
Yep. 182 and a half calls or what is this? I'm not seeing this.
Yo, Kian, when do I trim my toenails, brother? They're up
Let me
3% on the week.
let me check. Let me check the flow on that. Yeah, this looks like they bought 1.7 mil on Thursday and half and half same day, and I think a lot of them exited here for a loss.
Holy Oracle, one of the biggest piece of shits
Yeah,
ever to exist.
yeah, it's recording. This class is being recorded. What's flow on VIX? I don't look at flow on VIX. USAR. Okay, I'm just gonna go to 5:30, I guess. Fuck it.
This guy's definitely gonna be late for his date, bro.
I am.
What's the
USAR.
event, bro? What are you gonna be late for?
Huh? Dinner.
What are you gonna be late for? Dinner? With who?
My wife.
Oh no. Kian's sleeping on the couch, bro.
I'm sleeping on the couch for you guys. Yeah, again, this is kind of like this is an example of just being it's just messy flow. Like,
Messi.
yeah,
Ankara Messi.
messy, uncut messy.
A little boy from Rosario, Argentina.
Can you please check Marvel? Like, Marvel, like I can show you Marvel flow, but again, millions in calls, millions in puts. It's all over the place. What's the open interest? It's a new position, so zero open interest. We have to see how much carry is over until tomorrow. Oh God.
Yeesh.
Do you care about intraday market conditions or just no, no, you have to look at market conditions too. Hey, if the market's selling like hell and someone's buying, calls, obviously you want to find a good entry. You're not just gonna automatically uh buy those calls right away.
Bro, QQQ is down 4% today. What calls are we buying, head
yeah,
ass?
exactly.
What's the difference between live feed and flow scanner? One of them is live and one of them is looking through contracts after they happen.
Yeah, the flow scanner is like preset filters. So you have four preset filters: bullish flow, bearish flow, call sells, put sells. Right? These are filters that are set already from Skylit. Live feed is literally your filters in one place.
What's the difference between Skylit and Owls? Pure basketball.
Where is that?
I do like ASTS, but like shit's just getting nuked.
Yeah, exactly. Just fucking. Oh God.
I'm not taking calls on Hiroshima after it gets nuked, bro.
ARXS.
Bro, check the flow on DZN.
These. Oh,
D's
okay,
nuts.
whatever.
Oh!
How is this
I
successfully
think
been?
repeated orders have been absolutely slamming lately.
Yeah, yeah. Nothing really on Microsoft. I don't think I didn't see like
Anything on Microsoft?
again. Like, look, I'll
Yo,
show
you
you.
just like getting bagged, bro, don't you? You just like getting bagged? Bro looks at the Microsoft chart and he's like, yeah, I'm trying to buy some of this.
Yeah, calls. You want a cool. You want a good one. 2028. Thoughts on Meta? Oh God, shit. Everything's shit. All mags are shit. Netflix even worse. Netflix, dude. Netflix broke. That's 75. Sliced through 75. Where's the 200 week? Below the 200 week as well? Oh my God. Bro, this thing is. It has a maybe 69. Jack leave? Alright. Yeah. Alright, guys. I appreciate you staying all this time. Hopefully it helped. I kind of like this like nonchalant kind of where you guys ask the questions and I kind of answer them. I hate being like a teacher. I'd rather for you guys just to ask and I can show you examples, what my thought process is. Um, I will do a lot more of these. Maybe I do this once a week with you guys. We can go over, as a matter of fact, um, I can do like a watch list, like a notable flow watch list, once a week. So, um, for you guys. And for whoever's in here, I do have a discount code if you guys want to join Al's. It's okay if you don't want it. It's not a big deal. Just this is the I'm not gonna say in the recording. Just try that code. But yeah, thanks for watching. It's recorded. I'll get the recording in. Um, I'll see you tomorrow in live. See you guys.